Pete the Cat Goes Camping by James Dean. Someone's peeking at you through the bushes. Pete the Cat is copyright by James Dean and published by Harper. Pete is excited to go camping. This is his first time. Not sure if you really need that coffee mug. I don't know how you're gonna make coffee, Pete. And one fork you can all share. You know, I just noticed that his face, it just looks like he's got two giant eyes and a tiny little white mouth that's always open. Don't forget your sleeping bag, says Dad. Or your hiking boots, Mom says. They all look completely different. None of these cats are related. The campsite is deep in the woods. Perfect. Mom and Dad set up the tent. And this is just in case of vampires. Pete and Bob help collect sticks so they can make a fire later. Their feet are gigantic. Why are they wearing such huge boots? Pete and Bob go for a hike. Bob shows Pete the footprints of different animals. This one's a cat, and this one's a cat. Yeah, they're all cats. Yeah, and this one's a cat. Do you think we will see anything cool? Asks Pete. Maybe, says Bob. Run, Pete, run! Pete and his dad go fishing. They must be very quiet and very still to catch a fish. That is the tiniest lake ever. Fishing takes a long time. They finally catch some fish. That's one fish. Hooray! Mom, you have the pan upside down. Mom builds a fire. You can't build a fire. You can start a fire. You can't build a fire. She cooks the fish for dinner. It tastes yummy. I'm sure it does. With no seasoning and one fork. Next, Pete toasts marshmallows. They're not toasting marshmallows, they're roasting marshmallows. Pete makes s'mores with chocolate and graham crackers. Bob didn't even bother putting down a stick, and Dad's standing in the fire. It starts to get dark out. Bob tells Pete a story about a scary, hairy giant. Maybe it's Little Critter. The giant lives in the woods. His name is Bigfoot. So yeah, Little Critter. Or maybe it's all of you with your giant boots. Do you think Bigfoot lives here? Asks Pete. Yes, Pete. The legend that has been searched for literal decades is living right there in the forest you're in right now. No one has ever seen Bigfoot, says Bob. Don't let Bob scare you, says Dad. Bigfoot is not real, Mom says. Really? You are all literal walking, talking cats. But there's no possible way that Bigfoot's real. Pete sighs with relief. Why are you all staring in the sky like that? But if he is real, I bet he's friendly, says Dad. And likes s'mores too. Oh, you naive pussycat. That's not scary, thinks Pete. Maybe he wants a s'more. Pete leaves one for his hairy friend. Which one, the cat, the dog, or the monkey? You're all hairy. Soon it's time for bed. Lights out, boys, Dad says, and then dumps the entire ocean on the fire pit. Bob and Pete share a tent. Pete gets into his sleeping bag. It just looks like cardboard. It is cozy, but he cannot sleep. Yet he's probably hungry because you all shared one tiny fish. They have a picture on their tent wall of the forest that they're in. The woods seem extra dark. It's just as light as it was. And all the sounds seem extra loud at night. Pete hears a weird swooshing sound. Swoosh. What is that? He asks Bob. It's just a guy making a swooshing sound, says Bob. Pete hears an odd chirping noise. What is that? He asks out loud. It's probably just a bird. Those are just the crickets. Looks like he's putting a bathtub on his head. Pete hears a strange hooting sound. What is that? He wonders. What is that for real? It looks like someone shot a bird in the face and it lived. Or it looks like a tiny upside-down campfire. That's just an owl. Pete thinks of his friend Owl. That's your friend Owl? Pete hears a loud snapping sound. It's the Jersey Boys coming in to loot their camp. Crack! What is that? He wonders, but Bob is already fast asleep. I never understood that. How can you be fast asleep? How is it any different than normal asleep? Pete listens carefully. Crack! Is it Bigfoot? Let's just jump to conclusions here. Pete peeks outside. He still has that weird smile on his face. It is too dark to see anything except darkness. When Pete wakes up, he checks the spot where he left the s'mores for Bigfoot. He left a poo stain. The s'more is gone! It was probably a raccoon or something. Thanks for the treat. Yay! Look, look! A human! There is a note. It says, thanks for the treat, XOXO. Yay! Pete shows his family. Wow, I knew Bigfoot was real, says Bob. Why would you just assume that that's Bigfoot? All of your feet are bigger than that foot. And you should all be very worried. There was a stranger that walked into your camp in the middle of the night while you were sleeping. You are terrible parents. Pete knows Bigfoot is not scary. Just because he looks different does not mean he is scary. We didn't even see him. Whoop! He's there in the corner. He even likes s'mores too. And he likes to come into your camp when you're sleeping. The end. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like. In other words, hit the thumbs up. That's the like. And if you want to see more of our videos, go ahead and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell. It'll tell you when more of our videos come out. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next reading.